All right, let's talk about something that's literally thousands of years old, but is still a massive part of life for millions of people. We're talking about the Sabbath. Now, in this explainer, we're going to look at it through a very specific lens from our source material. And you'll see it's about so much more than just a day off work. It's an idea that's woven into the very fabric of creation, law, and worship. So let's dive in and see what that really means. To really get to the heart of this whole thing, we've got to start with a pretty big question. What does it actually mean to keep a day holy? It sounds straightforward, right? But the answer takes us on a pretty incredible journey through history and theology. So let's get started on that journey. With any big idea, the best place to start is always at the beginning. And for the Sabbath, that beginning takes us all the way back, all the way back, to the very first week of existence. This is where it was set up as a kind of memorial to creation itself. What's so wild about this definition is its timing and its purpose. It's not presented as some tradition that humans came up with later on. Nope. It's framed as something put in place by the Creator, right from the get-go, specifically to be a living, breathing reminder of the work of creation. So this timeline, it just lays it out perfectly for us. You have 6 days of intense, creative work, and then, boom, day 7 hits, and there's this fundamental shift. It's not just a pause, it's the day the Sabbath is officially instituted. This makes it feel like the grand finale of Creation Week, not just some afterthought. Okay, so it was established right at creation, but how did it become a formal thing people were supposed to do? Let's jump to the next part and see how this idea gets built into a direct commandment, which becomes the whole foundation for why it's observed. So why the number 4? What's the big deal here? Well, it's because the instruction to observe the Sabbath is placed right in the heart of God's law. It's the 4th of the 10 commandments. So this isn't just a gentle suggestion, it's a core foundational principle. And here, this is where the whole idea gets locked in. The commandment takes the Sabbath from being just a memorial and makes it a core requirement of faith. It ties directly back to that creation story saying, hey, because God rested on the 7th day, you should too. It solidifies the whole practice as an act of both obedience and remembrance. And you might think, okay, that's an Old Testament thing, but the source material is really clear that this practice is totally in harmony with the life and teachings of Jesus. In fact, he's called the Lord of the Sabbath, which really establishes his authority over the day and shows its importance through his own example. So we've got the origin, we've got the commandment, but the Sabbath is also just packed with symbolic meaning. It's kind of like a gift with a bunch of layers of wrapping paper. So in this next section, we're going to start unpacking some of those layers to really get the full picture. Okay, just look at this list for a second. The Sabbath is way more than just taking a day off. It's a symbol of our redemption, being saved. It's a sign of our sanctification, which is really just the process of becoming more holy. It's a token of our allegiance, a sign of whose team we're on. It's even a little taste of our eternal future. And finally, it's a sign of God's eternal covenant, his unbreakable promise. Each one of these just adds another profound layer of meaning. All right, understanding the what and the why is super important. But what does observing the Sabbath actually look like? Let's shift gears now to the how, which our source describes not as a chore, but as a joyful practice. This phrase right here, delightful communion, that's everything. It tells you that the goal isn't just to stop doing your job, it's to start connecting. The whole practice is about actively building up our relationships, both with God and with the people around us. So the observance basically breaks down into these 3 main activities. First, rest. Pretty straightforward. You stop your regular work. Second, worship. You focus your attention on God. And third, ministry, which means doing good for other people. See? It's this holistic approach that involves your whole self. So, let's get specific. When does this holy time actually start and end? According to the source, the Sabbath is a full 24-hour day, and it starts in the evening. That means it runs from sunset to sunset, so from Friday evening to Saturday evening. So, when you bring it all together, the practice isn't framed as a duty you have to do, but as a celebration you get to do. Joyful observance means treating the day as a chance to celebrate everything God has done, both in creating the world and in redeeming people. It's a total shift in mindset from obligation to pure delight. And so we'll end with this question, just to give you something to think about. If the Sabbath is a foretaste of our eternal future, like a little slice of heaven here on earth, what does that mean for how we could, or maybe even should, experience it today? It's a really powerful idea to reflect on. A weekly invitation to experience a piece of eternity right here and now.